A very good morning, my dear children. Welcome back to our English class. Today, we are going to start a new lesson, that is lesson number 3, Safe Again. As we have done with lesson number 1 and 2, that is Padmini the Princess and hundreds of wags. Now let us start. Lesson number 3, Safe Again. Whoever is having textbooks, children, please open your English reader, page number 23. Have a pencil in your hand to underline any difficult words if you feel. Next, Safe Again. Adapted from Windhover by Alan Brown. He is Alan James Brown, the writer of the story Safe Again. He is a British author who has written non-fiction for children and novels for adults. The name Windhover refers to the bird's ability to hover in midair while hunting prey. In this story, it is all about a bird. Windhover is taken away from its home by a boy, but is later brought back by the same boy. Let us start. A windhover is a small hunting bird. If you see the picture, this is the picture of a windhover bird. A windhover is a small hunting bird, also called a kestrel. So this bird is also called as a kestrel bird. Many times the bird just hovers. It stays in the air, flapping its wings, but not moving forward. If you see here, many times the bird just hovers, means it just flaps its wings and stays in the same place where it is. It doesn't move forward. It stays in the same place where it is in the air. For example, the helicopter hovers, means if you observe, helicopter stands still in the air without moving, right? In the same way, this bird also, it stands still in the air without moving forward. It only flaps its wings. Understood, children? And the best part of this bird is it controls the wind. The other birds doesn't have that quality in it, but this bird has that quality. It controls the wind. Whenever the wind comes, the other birds, they move according to the wind. Whichever way the wind is moving, the birds will move in that way only. But this bird can go opposite to the wind. It has that quality of controlling the wind. Once again, a windhover is a small hunting bird, also called a kestrel. Many times the bird just hovers. It stays in the air, flapping its wings but not moving forward. Here, a windhover tells its story. So, the windhover tells its story. Let us listen. When I open my eyes, the sky is the first thing I see. The wind is the first thing I feel. So, when it opens its eyes, the first thing it sees is the sky. And the first thing it feels is the wind. Since it is a bird, obviously it stays near the trees or it stays in the air, right? So obviously it can see the sky when it opens its eyes, and it feels the wind when the first thing it feels is the wind. I hear chipping from the egg close to my own broken shell. So, have you ever seen the chicken coming out of the egg. The hen's egg will be there, right? Hen lays the egg, right? So from that egg, have you ever seen the small chicken coming out of the egg? In the same way, here also, bird is coming out of its egg. I hear chipping from the egg close to my own broken shell. As it also came from the shell, in the same way, it can hear the sound chipping from the another egg. A hooked beak bursts through. So, when the bird is inside the egg, it pokes the shell. It tries to break the shell with its beak. So, when it tried to break the shell with its beak, what happened? A hooked beak bursts through. Means a hooked beak came out of that egg. Hooked beak means this is a picture of a hooked beak. If you observe this beak, the beak shape is like a hook, right? The beak shape is like a hook. So, in the same way, the same kind of beak, a hooked beak bursts through the shell. There is more chipping and I see a tiny pale head. So when the beak came out, obviously the sound will be very clear, right? So it is hearing the chipping sound more clearly. There is more chipping and I see a tiny means small, pale head. Pale means which is not bright in color, which is light in color. The head of the bird is very light in color. A chick struggles out of its shell, and then another. They are my brother and sister. So, a chick struggles out of its shell. So, it struggled to come out of that shell, and at last they came out. And who are they? They are my brother and sister. Who is saying all these? The Windhover bird. It is explaining its story. It is telling us the story of its life, right? Let's stop the story till here and let us see the hard words from this paragraph. Here you can see Windhover, next hunting, next flapping, next chipping, and also hooked, struggles, shell, burst, pale. So these are few words which may be difficult for you. So practice writing these hard words in your HW book, children. Understood? Write down each word 2 times in your HW book. So, as we have already learnt about nouns, punctuations, like capital letter, where to use capital letter, full stop, when to use full stop. We use capital letter to start a sentence and we end every sentence with a full stop, right? And also we use capital letters to identify the proper nouns. The proper noun will be capitalized. The first letter of the word will be capitalized, right? And we have seen adjectives also. Here, in this story, we shall identify adjectives out of verbs. So, we are converting adjectives from verbs, children. Here, the word broken shell. In that, broken. If you observe, broke. Broke is an action word, right? So, it is a verb. So, from broke, If you add en to broke, it will become broken. So broken will become your adjective. Next, hooked. H-O-O-K. Hook. Hook is a shape. Right? Hook is a shape of a, it can be any shape. It is hooked shape. So, hooked is your adjective. Next, there is more chipping and I see a tiny pale head. How is the head, children? Tiny and pale. So, those both words are your adjectives. A chick struggles out of its shell and then another. They are my brother and sister. What is this brother and sister, children? It is a, those both are common nouns. So, when you are reading the paragraph, please try to identify nouns which we have already learnt. Try to identify verbs which we have already learnt. Try to identify adjectives which we have already learnt. And try to identify where the sentence has been started and where it has been ended and how it has been ended, how it has been started. So, if you keep on identifying these things, it will be easy for you to remember the concepts. Now, write down the hard words which I have given you in your HW book, each one 2 times, and also read the meanings of chipping, hooked and pale. Even write down these meanings in your HW book, each one 2 times. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.